and I call it modern layered bob. And if you come on this side, I want to show you something that we're going to do today. As you see, we have a long hair here, and we want to transform this long hair into something that is really cool, and I call it like a modern layered bob. I put some sections over here for you guys to check. I did a main section from the middle over here, and now I'm going to work on the left side first. But my first concentration will be on this area on both sides, because I want to do the layers, and I'm going to explain why in the whole situation. So we're going to start here from this side and put a section, our first section and division for today. I'm going to put some clips over here, so just to put it on the side so it doesn't bother us. I'm going to start from the top actually, because the idea here is for this modern layered bob to be something that is very useful for our clients. And as you see, Anna here doesn't like to really do makeup or do too much color in her hair, but she decided to go on her favorite rock band concert, and then we want to do something to accommodate her style. So we want to create a bob that is going to work for us in a way that can transform her idea about what modern bob is. As we all know, bobs are coming with all kinds of lines, shapes, and everything else that goes with it. But we want to create a bob that is going well with her attitude of like, yeah, I'm going to the concert, I want to do something else. I have this long haircut, and I want to transform something. And in this case, I want to transform my hair. And as you see, I'm doing round layers over here, or convex shape at the very top. I'm following my guidelines, and at this moment I'm over-directing everything to the stationary guide at the top, as you see. I'm not cutting the bottom part yet, I'm just doing the layers right away. So when creating a bob, you can start from the bottom obviously, as we all start, but I decided to start from the internal shape first, because I want to create that free feeling, free falling, but also with a lot of structure. So I decided to do internal shape first, instead of just doing graduation at the back and then going into convex shape at the top, sorry. So that's why I started with layers right away, because that's going to set the tone afterwards when the hair falls at the back or goes longer at the front. So right now you see how long is her hair. So I think it's an ideal combination for the great transformation that we're going to do today. So as you see, I'm combing everything towards the middle over here.
Hey Milo, wait for a second. Everything say hello from Poland. Steven, Statland, Milo, miss you bro. Costa Rica, Wales, Pakistan,
Awesome.
New York, Los Angeles, and many people say hello. And
hi folks, looking forward to see you. Long time no see. Last time I was doing something cool with Steven in New Jersey. Steven Statland, he did an awesome hair color for me. Thank you, Steven bro. Thank you one more time. And as you see, I'm going to continue working on my shape here. So sometimes we think, oh, if we do some modern shapes, let's skip the precision cutting. Let's just do right away for point cutting or something like that. Of course, you can do it like that. But let's create, with a good precision technique, let's create a shape that's going to work for us. So to create a modern shape, which is a little bit loose and stuff like that, you do not really need to do point cutting straightforward from the get-go. You can start with a very much beautiful precision technique, as I'm doing right now, because it's going to help at the very end tremendously to the shape that we want to look. So what I'm doing over here is combing everything to the guideline, stationary guideline over here. And as you see, I'm cutting a shape over here. Sides a little bit longer, as you see, they're already falling in the side. And we have the shortest point over here. So let me show you. Shortest point over here and longer towards the ear. Because I want to create this shape that goes at the bottom over here. That's why we're creating internal shape first instead of building from one line and then creating layers. So I finished my section over here. So what I'm going to do is leave it on this side. Just take the clip out. Basically doesn't necessarily need to be right away here. So I'm going to connect them to see how they feel. And as you already start to see, the shape that we're creating starts to show. You can already see that the layers are starting to pop out a little bit over here. So now we're going to work on the bottom part of this side. So since we're creating the convex shape, so we're now doing those concave layers that will go short to long, just kind of follow the round shape of her head. This shape needs to be in the same manner on the back as well. So now we're going in a place of graduation. So first we did layers. Now we're going to do a little bit more layers and graduation at the back because we want to follow this shape that we created. And since we have a guideline here in the middle, we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to pull the section over here. Again, just to feel where was our previous guideline. So we're going to remove this part over here because we don't really need it at this point. And what do we need here now is a connection. Pull her head a little bit on the side. And pulling this, we're going to simulate the first part of our starting of the cutting. So we're going to pull everything on the middle section over here.
We can second for one question.
Of course, lay it out.
David Barry, how do you know the perimeter length you're pulling up directly behind the ear will be at the correct length you're wanting to achieve?
To achieve. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, beforehand, I was feeling the short layer over here, where it's going to fall. So if this short layer is here, so if you pull it down, this is approximately the length that we want to go at the shoulder level. If I went shorter, of course, that's going to end up falling somewhere over here. So basically, this is the first part where you decide how low it's going to fall. That is deciding your length. So now I have a guideline over here because I started with internal shape. As you see, I'm going to position myself from the right side as well and try to cut that middle over here, just to connect it.
Imate pozdrav iz Obrenovca.
Hvala.
Onda je
As you see,
Elaina, hello, how are you doing today? That is very cool.
Thank you. So as you see, I'm concentrating just to connect the pieces over here. Right now, I'm not working on the bottom part, as you see. I'm just connecting the piece over here. Her head is tilted forward. So right now, we're still layering, because guys, if you remember, everything over 90 degrees is layering. So I'm still cutting 90 degrees to the head, as you see. So this is technically a layer as well. So right now, I'm still connecting everything to the middle. And then we're going to deal at the very bottom of this side. Everything over direct to the middle. Coming back. Over here. Then, pulling everything down that I don't need. I just need to connect this. 2 more sections, because as we approach the fine line of the hair here, the hair is very fine, so you don't really need to do like too many little sections. You can kind of do slightly wider, but that's only if you're approaching the hairline over here. As you see, I'm connecting over here and creating those layers further on. Moving on from the very bottom here and doing the very last piece of the puzzle. So we have finished the layer part. Now we have the length over here, which we're going to finish. So if you remember, this was the idea of the angle. So we follow the head shape because it's a convex layers. You kind of follow the head shape, they ended up over here. And now what's happening? We gotta finish the circle which goes down. So basically oval shape all over. So sometimes when we cut shapes, we do oval shape over here, and then suddenly it's a flat line or like a square shape or like straight line. But in this case, we decided to finish the shape. So we're going from the layers to the bottom, and now it becomes graduation when it comes over here. So we're actually blending two different techniques, which is layering and graduation. Now we're coming back again up here. We're going to do some graduation here on the side to connect the sides. And as you see, this is my guideline here. Just going to keep cutting over here, as you see. And now you basically see that the hair is following her shoulders. This is her shoulder length. You just follow. You basically, with the first section that you did over here, you decide the fate of your guideline at the bottom. So actually, this was your guideline. So it's like a little bit of playful cutting to the classical shape. Let's continue over here. And the whole time I'm doing very precise movements over here. I'm not doing point cutting, I'm just doing straight cutting over here. And as you see, I'm getting this softer line at the bottom. And you can already see that the layers are starting to form with graduation beautifully in this symbiotic relationship. Continuing over here, connecting. Right. And then we have the last one over here that we need to connect. And the whole time you're just following the guide that you established earlier. Because I like to call this a mindful cutting approach as well, because I don't want to get lost when I'm cutting, you know, because when you get lost you tend to kind of freak out and see, oh my God, what am I going to do next? But in this way I started my cutting over here, finishing down, so layers, layers, and then graduation at the back. So you see we already have that soft shape and it started to form over here. So if we comb this section all the way down, we basically finished this whole part of the cut with layers and graduation. So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to start from the crown. As you see, our first guideline was here. All right, goes here. And separate those two pieces of hair, because at this very moment we don't really need this piece to cut. We're just going to concentrate at the back.
Bojana asks, are you ready for Belgrade Get Hearing?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Thank you for asking that. We have a festival here in this part of Europe, which I'm also invited to do with my friend Marco. We're doing a Belgrade Hair Gathering Festival next weekend over here. And this is like a little teaser for the event that we want to do. So here I'm going to take this main section here. Temporarily I'm going to just put it on the side, comb everything down because I don't really need this part. And then I'm going to concentrate back on this middle section. But if you remember, we started from the middle and we pulled every section from the middle, we pulled it to the guideline over here. Now we're starting the guideline from the other side. And we're pulling everything up. Also coming from a similar position where we started, because we want to follow that shape. I'm right-handed, so I need to follow where my right hand goes. I could technically stand on this side, but then look, I need to really work hard here, and then if I go lower, it's even harder and harder. It's almost impossible to do it over here. So that's why I need to follow the shape. If you're right-handed, you always think where your scissors are. If you're left-handed, it's just the reverse. So basically, standing on this side, I see my guideline here. And doing the same section in the very middle over here. So how do you like it so far, guys? Give me some feedback, because right now I'm going to be concentrating more on cutting over here. Anyways, continuing that section here. grabbing the previous one over direction to the middle.
Sašo Kremić nas pozdravlja, kaže ćao momci.
Ciao, Sale.
Pozdrav u Beograd.
Sasha Kremić, our friend from London. And he works for Trevor Sorby Education over there. So I'm continuing with my cutting over here. So everything is basically pulled to the middle section. I'm going to grab it again. The whole key over here is consistency. Meaning, if you feel that the hair is bothering you, if you lose the thread a little bit, come back again. Come back again and find it. No shame in that. Just find it where you need it. In this case, I want it slightly in the middle of the ear. I'm going to go towards the middle, and we're going to stop. Pull it all the way down. Just one clip to help distinguish the section over here. Anyways, so we're continuing at pulling the section towards the middle. Pulling everything up. Remember, convex shape that we're creating is a guideline here. This is our guideline, and we keep cutting now. Sometimes when we do certain haircuts, we feel, oh, maybe this technique is easier or lighter. I would say every technique can be very easy or very difficult depending on you, how you present it and how you want to cut. All right. Everything to the middle, as you see. All right. And then just picking the last section over here, pulling everything to the middle. The section is down. We're just combing this middle part, creating this shape over direction to the middle. All right. So as on the left side, we're going to concentrate on the middle part at the bottom because remember we created the top part of the shape. We're still doing layering just on this side, and then we're going to end up with the graduation at the back. So we're going to return back to our middle over here. Comb the left side, which is already cut. Doing some layering again. Starting over here, everything back to the middle as well. And then we have a guideline from the top. Where is our guideline? There it is. All right, everything falls down. We're going to continue here. So we're just concentrating on this middle part. We're not cutting the bottom. All right. And pull everything in the middle over here, just to see the spot.
Imamo pozdrav iz Zagreba od Renata. Good morning from Florida, Maria.
Good morning. Just the middle part. All right. Now we're finishing this whole shape. We need to finish by adding the very bottom of that graduated shape. So as we started over here, we did the middle part, and now we're going to finish with the graduation just on the right side here. And then, again, we're going to find our guideline here, in the middle. Then we're going to start from graduation at the very bottom, just to finish this shape that we started. And this is going to give us basically that softer feeling at the very end, because in this way we're planning ahead. So when we finish our whole cut, our modern layered bob, we're going to have a softer feeling at the very end. But that is achieved with a strong technique, as you see. All right, so we're finishing over here. And as you see, she has a very long hair, so it's like a really nice for cutting the shape that we need over here. All right. We have finished both sides, layers and everything. And as you see visually, we're still not doing the line or anything. We first work on the internal shapes of the haircut. This is going to be at the very bottom, the very last. All right. We're going to go on the side here. Since we want to do a really cool approach, we worked on the whole back part of the haircut. Now we need to connect the sides and keep the layer. But since we need to do, sorry.
Joanna say good morning from California.
All right. Good morning.
Donna watching from Toronto.
Whoa.
Nati thanks for education from Texas.
Thank you, guys. Now we're going to connect the sides over here. As you see, I'm still working on this whole section, but I'm just going to take the whole panel. Because usually on the sides here, if you see, almost everybody has really fine hair on the ears. So in this case, we don't really need to go like, you know, half an inch by half an inch by half an inch. We can take basically the whole panel, because the hair allows us to do that stuff. So we're going to move this side over here. So what are we doing now? We're going to over direct things towards the back. The whole section is taken, over directed to the back, and cut it at the very end over here. So this way, we are achieving that the front length is going to be longer. Now, we're going to continue with the top section, but we're going to continue layering immediately. So instead of just connecting the line at the back, we are continuing the layering. So we're going to do over direction again. Taking the section over here, pulling it back to the middle section that we had previously. So basically we're pulling everything back to here. So let's start with this top part. Connect everything to the middle section. There it is. All right. Then we have the lower part, as you see. Almost nothing, but still we're going to finish it over here. Pull the hair from the face. And we like to say, DJ Muldoon started to say that a long time ago, and I really like that, this phrase that he likes to say, pull away from what you want to keep. So we're pulling away from the face. We want to keep the length over there, just connect the layers at the back. And if you see, we already started to get like really cool layers connecting to the front. So in this way, what I'm trying to do, there are many ways to create beautiful layers and beautiful layered bob. I decided to do something like maybe ordinary, but with a twist, so we can get the best shapes that we can. All right, doing the same procedure on the other side. And as you see, Anna doesn't have too much color on her hair, and we wanted to do really something cool. Because very often with the color, you just pop in the whole thing. But if somebody doesn't want to do a lot of color, then you got to do something with the cut. So I think this is going to be the cutting part. All right. So again, section over here, and over directing everything towards the back. Everything towards the back. Because this is our guideline here in the middle. This way, we're doing the layers, respecting the shape that we want to create, and also adding to that softness at the very, very end. Because in this way, we keep the length. We're getting secure that we're not going to cut too much on the sides, right? All right. And then, just going to do the face one. Her hair is very fine here. She has like more like cowlicks and shapes over here. So basically everything here is super, super fine. Here is very thick, but the whole face framing is super fine. So that's why I need to take bigger sections, because otherwise I could actually make a mistake. So my goal is just to create something really cool. All right, so let's do it here. Any questions?
Michelle says, good morning from Washington State. Where are you? Where are you? See?
I'm based in Boston in US and East Coast, but right now I'm in Europe and visiting friends over here and getting a prep for the big festival that is going to happen 22nd of May in Belgrade, Serbia, Southeast Europe. So based in East Coast, currently in Europe and doing Hair Brain Live for you guys with the help of our local friends over here and our beautiful model Anna and Peter that is behind the camera over here. All right, so we have the shape that we want to create. So without adding too much of a hassle, we're going to blow dry this. But before we do the blow dry, we need to see what's going on the face over here, because she already had something. So we're going to just do a slight control. A diagonal section behind the ear. Leave this hair here. And just, we want to see, maybe we don't cut anything, but we just want to see what's happening around the face. Because she already had some kind of layers, something over here. Let's see. All right, so a little bit of clean up here. One more section here. Because we're already reaching with our sections towards the crown, so we don't want to go too far. Just maybe 2 sections if the fine hair allows us to do that. And hers is. So let's see what's going on here. A little trim over here at the face, just a little bit framing. And that's why I call this haircut a modern layer bob. I feel that there's going to be a little bit of a changing in the fashion, because long hair balayages are present for a long, long time. And I think our clients and women in general are a little bit done with that shape already, because it's been like 10 years. So this is a chance to give them something without cutting their hair too short, right? So they're going to still have something, but a little bit more modern, because there are many types of bobs. That's a very thankful haircutting shape that you can do from super short to longer and still call it a bob. It's really cool. So that's why I find it as a timeless shape for good inspiration, for awesome styles. It's just like never dies out. It just changes the form, iteration, details and stuff. So that's why I wanted to create a modern layer bob, in this case, from a long haircut without cutting her hair completely. All right, so we have a basic shape over here. So we're gonna do a little bit of blow drying and then some detailing later. So I'm gonna use our Dyson over here, do very easy blow drying without fuss, because her hair is mostly straight, so we don't need like round brushes or things like that. Just want to do a little wrap dry. Of course.
One question. I've never seen this cut done this way. Is there less texturing when it's dry?
That depends. That's a good question. That depends on a hair type of your client. So she has a lot of hair. It's mostly straight, but a lot of hair. So we want to do some layers, some shaping, but it's always a question, what? What exactly do you want to do? Do you need to do? Because obviously if I do the same technique on a wavy hair or curly, the outcome is way different. And that's the beauty of the techniques in cutting, so you can just apply it differently. So if we wanted to do the same approach to the curly hair, it could really work, but just the gravity will pull her, will not allow her to sit low. It will kind of go a little bit up, and the shape would be very visible. But with a straight hair, you can actually do a little bit more than that. So basically the same technique applied to different types of hair gives you completely 2 different outcomes. Does that really help, replying to your question?
Thanks from Corey in California says.
No problem, thank you. Guys, if you're thinking about classes or one-on-one or anything like that, you can direct message me on Instagram and we're going to talk about that. Because I want to devote some really good time on educating people one-on-one or your salon or whatever you guys need. Because times are changing. We're just going through the worst of this awful pandemic all around the world, and people need some inspiration to get back on track. You know, some countries are free without the masks or whatever the pandemic is done. Some countries are not. So it's really hard times for all of us, especially hairdressers, to get out of this stress. You know, we just want to create. We don't want to deal with the medicine and things like that. So hopefully everything is going to slowly become a little bit better. So I think changes in this sense are really good because a lot of our clients, they want something else. They want something new. They want some kind of inspiration. Anyway, so I'm not trying to do polishing here. I'm just trying to dry her hair naturally and then do some texturizing at the very end. Because if you remember, it's a modern layered bob. It's not a straight line that is cut. Doing this wrap dry technique and just giving a little bit more shine naturally. I like to use the vest brush. It's really cool. It gives me a lot of freedom.
Elania says, "Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. You did a very good job on here."
Thank you, thank you. Well, it's not done yet, so but thank you, thank you for your compliment. So my point is really how to twist something, because we can do many different approaches to this particular hair or a haircut, but let's do something different. That's why I chose this technique. I'm going to do a little bit more texturizing when I'm done. And since Anna is a rock and roll chick, she likes something different. She doesn't like those bobs. They're like super structured. It doesn't go with her personality, you know. That's why, you know, she wanted something else. And she's the person who doesn't do blow dries at home. She basically wants a cut that is done in 5 minutes. When you wash it and put some product, maybe dry a little bit and go out in the street. So she doesn't want any basically hair. So that was also my opinion and my thought process, what to do with that kind of stuff. If I just do a regular bob on her with a lot of precisions and lines and some layers, she may be saying, look, I need to blow dry this hairstyle every day. It doesn't really work for me. So give me something modern, something that is bob, that I don't have to work with. So this would be something that I was thinking of. Because she has some highlights and lowlights over here, so let's see what this can work for her.
Mina says, "Hi, I'm watching from prison. You're the best."
From prison? Okay. Cool. Anything to make people happy, right? All right.
Corey, say what brush are you using?
I'm using the West brush, 10 row, ceramic brush. I got it a long time ago when I was working with my friends in Vidal Sassoon Academy. Long time ago, so they still have the logo over there, but it doesn't matter. I really love the brush. It's been like 11 years already. It still works like a day one. 11 years old. Perfect. I think you can buy those brushes online. It's called Vest. I think this is a 10 row, I think, if I'm correct. You can choose whatever you like to do. So basically, as you see, the blow dry is very light. I don't want to create too much of stuff because we still need to finish it up. We did a lot of texture, but we're going to do more to kind of clean it up and do a little bit more length, more movement and things like that. Because we want to create this modern shape falling already. Alright, we're almost done with the blow drying. So the goal is not to polish it at this moment. We just need to dry it so we can continue texturizing and work a little bit more on it. Alright, so we're going to continue now with some texturizing. So I like to change scissors when I do texturizing. I like a longer blade and a wider comb. So as this is the shortest point of our whole haircut, let's pay attention to that. So let's go at the back of her head here from the crown, lower part of the crown. Just comb everything up, forward. And let's concentrate on texturizing and detailing this part over here. Because this is a very crucial part of the whole haircut, as you all know, because this is going to give you the final touch. Alright, so we have a shape over here. So let's start with those layers, a little bit of point cutting to give them some movement. And as you see, they're very thick and straight right now. So now we're going to give them some movement over here. Because my goal is for her to have like a seamless blend of layers at the back. In order to see how it starts to fall better. See? Now we're going to pay attention to the bottom. So right now let's start from the layers that we did it before. And if you pay attention, when I'm doing texturizing, I'm still following the idea of an original cut. So I'm not doing different angles. I'm just following the original cut because I want to see how it's going to fall. So I'm not taking like this or like that. I'm just following the shape that I started with. I'm going to ease up this line a little bit to allow her to free fall. And it's really important when you do texturizing to have the idea of what you want in the very beginning. Because if you start cutting and texturizing without the clear idea what you're achieving, you may overcut the style or just do something else that you didn't really intend. That's I started this whole cut with the idea in the beginning, and I knew what kind of texturizing I'm going to do to finish everything up. And if you see over here, a little bit slower so you can see this is the way I'm texturizing. Deeper point cuts, almost parallel, so I want to just get rid of some of the weight over here. And still following the parallel pattern that I set up over here. Because I want to achieve this blend to really work for me. And if you see, I'm just using comb. You see how it's already blending without me doing anything. Remember when we started this? A little bit chunkier looking, but it's all blended in. And mind you, I didn't do anything to this hair. So basically very light blow dry. Didn't polish, didn't do anything. The layer's already blending. So this was my goal, my idea. Because she doesn't want to do too much with her hair afterwards. So this is going to allow her to do exactly that, to do nothing, to just wash hair, comb it, that's it.
What brand of scissors is your favorite to use?
Well, that's a good question because I have really different brands of scissors that I like to use. Currently, I'm using Mizutani, 6-inch length, Matilite Q Quicksilver model, if you see it. But over there I have a lot of different ones. So for example, the ones that I used for wet cutting phase is Naruto. It's a Japanese model. And I would definitely call them like phenomenal craft-made scissors. Personally, I like to call them Bentley of the scissors. And I like to use Naruto, I like to use Mizutani a lot. I use some other brands, but these are my two choices. Mainly Mizutani and Naruto's. This does work already. You see the layers are popping out here? without any product, nothing. This is just a pure hair. Now I'm going to do the length over here to see what is happening over here to give us the final boost. Alright, this is the length that we want to keep. Now I'm going to do point cutting. Alright, everything goes back to here. Easy to finessing the very bottom. And then this side here too. And of course, when I'm done with this, we're going to do a little bit more blow drying and polishing, putting some product, and she's ready to go for a concert afterwards. Have like a modern layered bob. Modern because the shaping is different and the styling is different, but in essence, it's still a layered bob that we did in a, I would say, classical way, classical approach. All right, so I finished that part over here. Now I'm going to work on the left side of her head, pulling everything towards the back and still maintaining the shape, but texturizing. See, this is the shape that I want to work with. So in a way, this is the beautiful synthesis of round techniques, square techniques, and triangular techniques, because you get the best out of them everywhere. So this is like technically a square line if you look at it. But I didn't cut a square line at all. I just cut a square. I just cut a convex shape, round layers. But I combined triangular shapes, over direction, and other things to get this beautiful approach. To have this length here, we want to keep, but to have layers that kind of seamlessly blend at the back. All right, a little bit more over direction here. This hair, for example, we could do the whole thing with a razor. It would still have the similar effect. But in this case, I decided not to work with a razor because I wanted to achieve the shape with the scissors exclusively at this point. But all of you razor cut lovers, you guys can do the similar thing. And razor bobs are really beautiful shapes as well. And this is the point to show you. See how it's blending in? When you do blending in, you see how the hair color is showing you. You need to blend more, and they really seamlessly blend. This is the idea. See how the layers are beautiful falling over here and blending into my choice. All right, a little bit more at the front here. Any questions more?
Michelle have questions for Anna. Does she singer or play an instrument? Because his hair is so healthy and shiny.
Yes.
Da li si pevač ili sviraš neki instrument?
Ništa od toga.
So can I translate? Anna,
Yes.
can I translate? No, Anna is not a player in a band, but she likes rock and roll. So she likes that style of music, and basically the whole styling behind like rock and roll and punk music and all that stuff. So you will see when we finish the hairstyle, she put like a really cool outfit, this whole thing, along with the makeup. It goes really well. And you see, this is what I want to achieve. So this is a beautiful example. Take a look at this right side, which I didn't really touch. I still need to work on this right side. It's kind of blending in, it's nice, but this one is blending much better. You see? When I move my fingers, when I move her hair, this is starting to fall beautifully, like a softer but with a strong shape because of that original technique and then blending in with the dry haircut. So you see the difference of the two sides. Just that. And that's the point when we do dry cutting, when we do techniques of dry cutting, we definitely want to give our mark at the very end.
Does she like soft rock and roll? Question.
Da li voliš soft rock and roll? Yeah, I would say Guns N' Roses is as soft as it gets.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. But you know, this is fashion. This is what we do. We as hairstylists, different music, different haircuts, different outfits. Everything is different. We kind of tailor our experience and our clients' experience. We just shape whatever they want. So if she's like a rock and roll chick, but she doesn't like maintenance or whatever, she's not, for example, punk chick. So punk chick would have like a strong collar or more like an undercut here or some other shape. But she's not more into that. She's more into this kind of, you know, hard rock, metal, things like that. And then she needs something that she can work with. So this is our basically reminder when we do create shapes for people. What do they actually want? Because one thing is what I would like, but it could be completely different what a client would like. So that's why those techniques are very applicable to different styles, different haircuts, different needs and desires. So one of my biggest realizations in my quarter of a century career, 26th year now in hair, and I realized that early on in my career, that's really opened my eyes. It's like you can know any technique to cut beautiful shapes. But if you're a slave to a technique, it's not going to look pretty on your client's head. So you need to know all of them, and you need to know where to place them and how to utilize them so the styles are actually working well for the clients. Because again, if I just cut super short bob on her with a lot of lines, which is perfect haircut, I don't think she would like it. Because we talked about it, she said, no, let's not go too short. We want to say something, I want to have some length, I want to pick up my hair if I need to, but I still want to work with something, you know? All right. Still following the shape over here, going at the back. All right, this is what I want to see here to kind of tackle a little bit. Any more comments or questions? I appreciate all of them. Thank you, guys.
No.
All right. Comments, bad comments, whatever.
No bad, no. Only good.
Right, so let's see how it's falling on this side. All right, see, even this side is starting to listen a little bit more. See, we need to tackle it a little bit more. It's a little bit longer than the other, but this is intentional because we want to see how it's going to fall. Right? Maybe it's not longer, so that's the point, to see how it's going to work with you.
Corey, have a question. Do you use texturing shears to blend sometimes?
Texturization, that's a really good question, because the other day we were talking, colleagues and I, about that. Texturizing scissors are a perfect tool, but you need to really decide when to use it. In this case, she has a very fine hair, but a lot of it, and everything is kind of easily visible. So that means if you do too much with texturizing scissors, you really damage your hair or achieve the result that you really do not want. So I'm all for texturizing shears or scissors where applicable. So if you can use it, do it. If you're afraid that you're not going to achieve the result that you do want, then skip it. But they're a great tool if you know what you're doing. So that's the point. The same with razor. Oh my God, if you don't know what you're doing with a razor, you better leave that tool and stay away. But if you know what you're doing with a razor, it's a beautiful tool. So basically what makes a difference is the education. Because with the education, we know when to use certain scissors or tools or not. So I'm going to just quickly demonstrate. That's a good question for what she was asking. So if I use texturizing scissors, as you see. So I'm achieving everything with the other scissors, but if I want to use these ones, I'm kind of limited with what I can achieve, right? So then, because this is cutting, these are they have a very small ratio of cutting, maybe like 12%. So that's perfect. You don't want like 20 or 30, God forbid 50. You just want a very low ratio. So then in this case, you can maybe do this on a certain areas for this particular haircut. Because I don't want any markings on the shape. But for me, it would be like a little waste of time to use it, so that's why I use regular scissors, if you know what I mean. But if you feel that hair can take it, why not? We're almost done with the results here. Let's check it out a little bit more. At this point, when you cut, it's just a feeling because you achieved your main goal, and now you're just blending in, tailoring, trying to achieve what you need in this case. All right, a little bit more here. You want to see how it's going to fall. And there you go. We're just hunting the extra pieces that we need to get rid of without cutting too much. So, what is a modern layered bob? To recapture the moment from when we started. I would call it a modern layered bob, a bob adapted to the client, but also following current fashion ideas. A lot of bobs are coming back now, but they're not short. They're usually around the shoulder length, what we see in the fashion industry now. And let's be honest, we are the ones who need to create those shapes. Not a Vogue photographer or somebody else behind them. We, the hairdressers, we need to create them. So we need to think what we can do the best for our clients, for ourselves. That's why I wanted to create this modern bob with a lot of layers, a lot of movements, to work with that idea that I have. Anything else? More questions? Almost done here. Feedback. How do you like it, guys?
Victoria say, love it, thank you. Far flared quench.
Thank you. Peter has some issues with English, but it's fine. It's good. We understand everything. Thank you so much for your questions and comments. But, you know, that's the point. Sharing education, sharing knowledge, sharing something. All right. So, before we're done, we're going to use the blow dryer lightly. Let them out of there. So this is what I wanted to achieve. As you see, the hair flowing freely, but in order. There is an idea, there is a method to the madness, if you will, why the hair is flowing freely. Because we made it to be like that. We didn't just point cut everything right away and just hoping it's going to look cool. We did everything with the idea to create that beautiful shape. And if you see here, it's already starting to form a beautiful, you know, complementary color that she already has. It starts to move nicely. It starts to work really cool. All right. So we're going to finish here. We're going to liberate Anna from this thing here. It's got a hot over here. Just a second. We're going to stand up and we're going to do some nice shaping with hairspray. So Anna, if you could stand over here briefly. All right. So I'm not going to do too much of any product. I'm just going to use a little bit of this Swella hairspray. And mostly work with my fingers to kind of work with this texture that we created. When she goes tonight somewhere, the band is going to notice. All right. How do you like it, Anna?
I like it.
Cool. All right, guys, how do you like it? I hope you guys like it. If you see over here, come better. On this side, turn around. I think it looks really cool. If you put something behind the ear on this side, gets that like a nice bounce from the layers. And with this kind of style, you don't need too much product. As you saw, just put a little bit of hairspray, a little bit of something. So if it starts to, a bit staticky, which could happen because it's fine hair. Just add a little bit of hairspray, that's it. Not too much stuff, not too many products. It works really cool. Like it?
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. You